Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. In this video, we're looking at the NBA slate for Tuesday. We have 3 games starting at 7:30, and then we have 2 night games. So let's go ahead and get right into it. We have a couple of teams that are in need of a win, especially the Lakers and Clippers don't want to go down 2-0. Same thing for the Celtics, but without Jaylen Brown, they don't have as many expectations as especially the Clippers do and the Lakers also. So let's go ahead and get into it. As always, appreciate if you guys hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get started with the point guard plays today. You have a couple of guys above 10K, Luka, Harden, and LeBron. Luka is coming off of a monstrous game. In a game that Porzingis struggled, he put up 71 and played 41 minutes. He was awesome. Just looked just like he did last year in the bubble against the Clippers, just dominant. They had nobody to really slow him down, which is surprising because they have Kawhi and Paul George, but they couldn't really do anything against Luka. Just super hot from the floor, triple-double. Looks like a great play if you can get to him. If not, you can save some money and go to like LeBron. He's probably going to have a lot better of a game. He looked good out there in the start with knocking out a couple of long threes, but had some turnover issues and played just 36 minutes, which was surprising because I thought he would play like 40 like the rest of the, like Devin Booker played absolutely a ton of minutes. I think he played like over 40, 45 minutes for Booker. Insane. He was awesome out there, but I'd probably go Luka is my favorite pay up at the point guard position, and then I go LeBron, then Harden. Kyrie's sitting at 88. He looks good as well, but just what I feel like one of these 3 guys at least is going to have a down game. I don't see all 3 going for their GPP scores. I feel like if Irving has like 40, 45, that's okay, but it's definitely not what you need. I wouldn't mind going down to like Chris Paul, even though he's banged up a bit. Maybe that scares some people off of him. And then Kemba looks fine at 72, but Marcus Smart looks good as a value play. He's 58. He's just a pretty safe play because he's going to be out there for 40-plus minutes for his defense. He can shoot a little bit from 3. He's the guy that can get you some assists, some rebounds, some steals. Just a pretty overall safe play at $5,800 against the Brooklyn Nets. Just out there for a lot of minutes, and he's a guy that is known to get some peripheral stats, so I feel confident that he will at least have a decent game. You can go down to Dennis Schroeder at 56. I like Smart more than Schroeder. And then for value, I'm looking at like Jalen Brunson potentially at $4,300. A guy that Rick Carlisle absolutely loves. If he is playing well, he'll probably see more minutes than like 25, 26. Could see at least in the high 20s. Floor is like the low 20s in minutes. He's just a good, solid all-around player. Takes good shots, makes good shots, good playmaker. Good value play at $4,300. And then Rondo also a guy that we can look to at $4,500. At shooting guard, spot that we can pay up. We have a couple of really good spots, a couple of players in good spots, especially James Harden at $10,200. He's expensive. You can go down to Devin Booker at $8,100. Seem like the Lakers are going to have to make some adjustments on Devin Booker, especially if Chris Paul is still banged up a bit. He's not going to shoot that much. Booker is going to get a lot of he's going to get a lot of shot attempts. The Lakers have to do their best to try to prevent him from getting open looks, which they did not do in the second half. They did a decent job in the first quarter, but then they kind of stopped just double teaming him, and he just started to go off. I think they'll make some adjustments, but I really like Booker and Paul George. I think the Clippers are going to win this game against Dallas, so trying to get to some of these guys on the Clippers that are underpriced. George, priced where he should be. Kawhi Leonard is underpriced. I mean, George is also a little bit underpriced where he's been over the season. They're both going to play 40-plus minutes. They're both going to shoot a bunch. Going to get a lot of usage on the season. Paul George averaging over 40% from 3, 46% from the floor. We always know his struggles have been in the playoffs. Wasn't terrible in the first game. Just didn't get the job done. They didn't win. I think George and Kawhi are both going to have pretty solid games, especially just looking at their price tags. Both are very affordable. They can get George and Kawhi both at in the below 8K range. $8,300 for Kawhi Leonard, 1 of 6 from distance. He's a guy that in the playoffs he's gonna exert a lot of energy. In the regular season they kind of just looked like they were coasting with Kawhi. Wasn't engaged in, wasn't trying to do too much. Some of these games he shot like 9 times, 6 times. That's something you don't expect out of Kawhi Leonard. In the playoffs you'll see him shoot 20+ times. I would say almost every game. And him and George are just really underpriced, and they're gonna be staples in my lineup. I really like Kevin Durant as well at $9,300. He seems to be the alpha dog on the Nets. It's in the pecking order. He seems to be at the top in terms of shot attempts, in terms of just playing a lot of minutes and getting you rebounding opportunities. All-around great player. He can also get you some assists. So I really like Durant. You can save $800 from LeBron James. You can save $1,300 from Luka Doncic. It's a bit stars and scrubs so far. A lot of stars in George, Kawhi, and Durant, but that's exactly which way I want to go. For value here, you can go with like a Jay Crowder again. He was in foul trouble, finished with 3 fouls, but those 3 all came in the first half. Played 29 minutes, only shot 3 of 10, 0 of 7 from distance, finished with 18.5. Now, Cam Johnson also a viable value play, but Crowder is still going to get the first shot at the power forward position. If he plays well, if he's not in foul trouble, he should probably see over 30 minutes. And 43 is a pretty nice price tag for him. We'll have to keep an eye on Maxi Kleber. If he's out, then that would open up the door for like Dwight Powell to potentially start. That would be pretty important because Powell is 36. He would be a nice value play if there is no Maxi Kleber today. And then Cam Johnson also, I don't mind him at $3,600. And then at center, you have Davis, who's coming off of an absolute horrible performance. 5 of 16 from the floor. Finished with just 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 13 points overall. He has to have a lot better of a game. I do think he will step up today, which is why, I don't know, hopefully both LeBron and Davis both have big games, but I definitely think Davis will step up because he was awful in that first game. And then we can also go with like DeAndre Ayton is only $6,100. He looked great out there against the Lakers. He looked a lot better than like Drummond, Montrezl Harrell, whoever they threw at him at the center position. They might run Davis more at the 5 in this one just to match up with DeAndre Ayton a little bit more. But they're still going to play in a lot of minutes. He's not in foul trouble. Also had 3 fouls, I believe, all in the first half. But he was great. Finished with 37 minutes. Good playmaker. Gets you rebounds. And good shot to get a double-double, especially when he's playing this many minutes. And going to get some good looks at the basket with Chris Paul. If he is limited with his shoulder injury, not shooting as much, he'll probably look to Ayton more and Devin Booker more. So feel good about these 6, especially these stars right in the middle here. So that's it for DraftKings. Let's look at FanDuel. Okay, on FanDuel here, point guard plays, it is Luka as 10-3. You have Chris Paul, 76. I think you can go down to Kemba is only $7,000. Shooter is 57. They're both nicely priced. And then for all the way going down to a value plays, nothing I really want to go too cheap, like Beverly starts, but 41, I don't want to occupy a point guard spot for him. Feels like a spot we can go with like Kemba. I think he'll bounce back. He shot awful in that first game. He's only 7K. I think at least they'll be able to. I don't think he'll win this game, but I do expect Kemba to have a lot better of a game. Shooting guard is Booker and Paul George as my favorites. I don't think I'll get all the way up to James Harden. Just when I have 2 guys that are over $2,000 cheaper, both with a ton of upside. You can go with Tim Hardaway, 51. He's gonna, if he gets hot from the 3, he's gonna put up a nice game. And that's it. There's not a ton of great value. And also Marcus Smart is 53. He'd be one of my favorites to look at. Probably Smart and then one of the Paul George or Devin Booker, probably whoever fits. Small forward, Kawhi Leonard. Want to get to him at least. He's 94. He's $1,000 cheaper than Durant and LeBron. The playoffs, I think they'll all be pretty similar in terms of their average scores. Kawhi is gonna step up today, I would assume, and lead his team to a win. Him and George are a couple of my favorites as studs to pay up for on this slate, just based on their price tags. And then for value, you can go with Josh Richardson, KCP. Richardson comes off the bench, but KCP starts and plays like mid-30s in minutes. Or you can go down to like Joe Harris or a Cam Johnson. Power forward, Davis is 10-1, Tatum is 10K. I still like the price tag on Porzingis. He was garbage in that first game. But $6,900 is really affordable for a guy that does give you a lot of upside, especially looking at this slate and looking at this position besides the 2 spend-ups. It drops off a big time besides Porzingis as your third best option. Crowder is fine at $4,800, and then like Morris looks good as well. He's just going to play a lot of minutes at $4,400. Looking at the fact that at center we don't have a ton of spend-ups except for nobody over $7,200, which is DeAndre Ayton. Plug in Ayton, I still have 62 plus left for the rest of the spots. You can go ahead and put in at least, maybe go with like Morris at $4,400. That leaves you still with 66. So still be able to spend up for at least 1 or 2 other pay-ups. If you don't want to go with Porzingis at power forward, you can go with like Crowder and Morris, or go all the way up for like a Davis or Tatum. But that's it for this one. Thank you guys for watching. Best of luck tonight, and I'll catch you all next time.